Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi, everyone. This is Chatting with Nat. Yes, it's Natalie Tina Smith-Alicia, and today we have the honor of having pop singer-songwriter Nomae. Atlanta-based artist Nomae is an artist whose talent knows no bounds. A combination of Colbie Callet, Dido, bits of Fiest, wrapped in a positive folk pop that is reimagined. Though she's a classically trained singer, her sound spans across genres. Currently, Nomae is collaborating with heavy hitters in the film, TV, and ad world from Atlanta, Nashville, and internationally. She is regularly releasing music on all streaming platforms. She is focused on her upcoming project, which will feature a more pop feel with a darker sound to follow. Easy to listen to with an emotional and substantive lyrics, she is one to watch on the upcoming pop singer-songwriter scene. Let's give her a round of applause. Hi, Nomae. How are you?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well.
Great. And how have you been doing during this whole pandemic thing here?
Not to, minimize all the horrible things that have happened in the world, but it has actually been a great time for me and my family. I had a baby in February, and then lockdown happened in March, and so my husband was home from work, and we just had a lot of desperately needed, much needed family time together, and it kind of helped me. Like many people, I've heard story after story of people sort of recalibrating and mentally, getting refreshed and focused on what they want to do. And so it really helped me catapult into what is now my new career, just because I had the mental space and the ability to just stay home and say no to everything and think about what I want and start going after it.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question because, like you said, a lot of people had the time to, reevaluate and decide what and who they are going to be in this life because of all the tragedy that we've had to face in the past couple of years. It's just been crazy. I know that, like you, there are many people that I talked to that were just like, they cut back work because they realized how much family time they were missing. And they're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Family's more important. There are artists that decided to be, to rebrand themselves. To say, you know what, about charting, I want to be an effective player. That's my whole spiel. I want to be more authentic. I want to be more real. I want to, make a difference out there in the world. And it's funny because oftentimes people say, well, people don't want to say, there's some good stuff that came out of it, but that's just the reality of things. Yes, the pandemic was ugly. People died. People are still sick. But with climate change, the animals were like, oh, we can go out here. We can breathe. There's nobody out.
Yeah, right.
Mother Nature was like, oh, yeah.
There's good in everything.
There's good in everything. So, and I took time to think about what I wanted to do with my life. At the same, I left my job and because I couldn't. I actually did get COVID. So, me too. But I still have a lot of lingering effects. So, but it really made you think about things. So, in your own career, what did you decide was going to be your main focus? How did the pandemic really change your thoughts on what you want to do with your life?
Well, a lot of it was just an emotional sort of mental breakthrough of, I feel like I've been kind of in hiding in terms of music and chasing, a career or a profession in the music industry I just hadn't really given it a true shot before. It had been like this imaginary sort of dream off in the future and something I'd always wanted to do and obsessively kind of dreamed about, right? But for years I literally didn't tell anyone. My own sister didn't know that I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. It was kind of the thing I was most terrified of, if I'm honest. So it took a lot of years to get to the place of like, okay, I'm going to try. I'm still terrified, but it's like, I'm just going to do it anyway because life is short. And what if this is the thing I'm put here to do, So a lot of it was just a big mental shift. And then obviously nobody's gigging, nobody's playing live or anything like that. So I would say, and I have little kids at home. And so my career and like my approach to music is not a typical path and it's not a typical journey. And I'm just really like in my room working with people all over the world, sending stems and just working together online and like doing writes over Zoom. And so, we just kind of made it work with staying home.
Now, during the pandemic, did you live stream at all?
No. I spent a lot of time learning and writing, and really like now I'm getting into the beginning of just releasing all the things I have built up on my computer. There's so much music I'm eager to share with the world and have yet to, I've only just begun. So that's to come, but I didn't do a ton of that. It was really just writing during the pandemic.
You have 3 kids, so how do you balance all of that, being able to, care for the kids, obviously your wife as well. I'm sure your husband is independent. But how do you balance all that? Music is, being a mom is like a full-time job, and you've got 3 kids, and the music industry is a full-time job. It's like 24/7 actually, just like being a parent. So how do you balance all that?
I'm just insane. Life is really, I never stop. I'm constantly doing something. And so, luckily, like if I share with my sisters or my friends, like, this is what my day-to-day looks like, they're like, that sounds miserable. Like, it's so busy. And I'm like, well, it's really not miserable because I love my children and I love music. Like I'm obsessed with it, hopefully in a good way, in a positive way. And so my children are sort of just a part of it. Like they're all like playing with there are ukuleles strewn about throughout the house and like pianos and just random instruments. And so, they're just a part of it, learning kind of with me, watching me work sometimes, or just crawling on me while I try to work, like the same way a cat will, like sit on your keyboard. I feel like that's my children. So, and then, I'll be like cooking and making dinner, and I will be thinking about, I'll like be writing. I'll just like be singing a melody or working on lyrics. And so I'm just constantly doing both of those things, and it's just very messy and imperfect. But, I knew I didn't want to wait 20 years before I started. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what? It's going to be messy and it's going to be imperfect. But if I don't start now, and even like the music I've already released and the music I'm writing now, it's like, I'm trying my best, but like, I don't know how good it is. And I just can't focus too much on the results. Because then I'll never do anything. It's like, just do it and release it to the world and do another song and then try again and just keep going, and inevitably I'll get better.
And I think one of the things I was talking to my friend Nikki about is I don't believe in perfection. And I think that's one of the things that's really bad in our world, is that people are always trying to be perfect and everything. And there's songs that are fantastic, but I don't think there's anything that's perfect. And I think that for me, the more raw, the more real, the more authentic the song, the more gritty the song is, the song that I love the most. Like, even if there's like something funky with the person's voice or with the instrumentation, I just love that, because that's just real. Even on a podcast, if something were to drop on the floor, that's real life. Nothing's perfect. We just don't sit here and then there's just silence and everything's just going to go right. That's just not real. It's just not life.
It's debilitating. that's what I was under that sort of shadow for so many years of like, well, if it's not going to be good, if I'm not going to like start day one and magically be so good and so perfect at this job, you know what I mean? Like, then I don't want to try. And then like after so many years of not trying and being frustrated with my sitting on my own hands, it's like, I got to let go of this perfectionism thing. Like I got to just start. It was driving me nuts.
Exactly. So how would you describe your music?
That's a tough one because I am like truly ADHD. And my focus so far has been kind of writing. I mean, it's authentic to me because anything I write is going to come from what I'm passionate about. And like, let's say we're writing on a certain topic or a certain theme, like it's going to be my perspective, you know, in that theme. So, it's authentic. However, it's not one thing. Like I'm doing some happy, upbeat pop music and I'm doing some like dark, cinematic, you know, moody stuff. And, there's a variety because I'm working in a couple different teams, and our teams were kind of pitching it to sync and to film, anything to picture. And sometimes we're writing for briefs, for ads or some sort of specific thing like that. And I'm not releasing everything. So like I said, I kind of have a lot on my computer that the world hasn't heard yet. But yeah, so it's a variety, but I'm typically the female vocalist, you know, on my work. And so not all the time. Sometimes I'm just a writer.
Right.
And so I'll have like I don't know, like in my bio, like a Fiest sort of like indie I don't know. People keep telling me I have like an indie voice.
Right.
Or like a bright, uplifting sort of sweetness to my voice. And so, I don't know. I'm too close to it. Like it's just me and part of my body. So I'm just listening to what other people are saying about my voice, and I'm like, yep, that sounds fine.
Now, do you work with a particular publishing company or sync or licensing company?
No, not in particular. Right now, I'm just all like one stop. I'm just me. I'm self-published in my own. You know, I came up with my own publishing company name, and I have had a couple songs signed to non-exclusive sync agents, but not there's not like a library or a somebody that represents me. No.
So do you just, you know, you create a song, because this is one of the biggest things that I did during the pandemic was do all these webinars and conferences on music, and there was a bunch of
I know, me too.
taking licensing, and so so for example, I was on Clubhouse and this woman gave us all this information, and I'm also with the Guild of Music Supervisors, and so
okay.
Yeah, so do you just find the different agencies and then just submit your music?
Yes, it's actually, honestly, my head is so in the music that's a part that I'm actually slacking on. You know, like I need to pitch more and submit my music to more places, but I have a long list of things to finish.
Great. No, I get it.
Kind of, I'm hoping and planning to finish this year with for example, I have a 10-song pop sort of grouping and catalog that I'm working on with my producer, Anel Salcedo. She's from Mexico. She lives in Canada, and I've never met her in person, and she's like one of a bestie, you know, like we're just going to be lifelong friends. I love her. And which is another like great part of the pandemic. I'm like, hey, my friends are on the internet. That's cool.
That's awesome.
So anyway, so we're working on a pop project, and then I have a couple other teams that we're doing like a sort of dark, moody, indie acoustic sort of thing. And so we're going to work on groups of 5 songs, and there's a long list to finish. And then once I kind of can get that done, I am going to try to focus on pitching a little bit more. But there's, you know, I have a couple people that are responsive to me and I can kind of reach out to. But yeah, there's a lot of sort of agencies and libraries that I'm aware of. I just have yet to like spend the hours of submitting because it's its own job, really.
Oh yeah, you're preaching to the choir. You know, between today and tomorrow, I'll send you the list of companies that I know of that you can send to.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
So you'll have that list. What was it about the music industry that made you want to get into music? Was it a particular concert? Was it a TV show you watched? Were you like, whoa, I've got to do this?
That I've heard people say the same thing, and it's just, I feel like it's true of whoever does this as a career. It's something I've like, it's almost not let go of me. There have been so many years in the past where I've tried to like work in different industries, and I was a high school Spanish teacher for a few years, and like, yeah, I've tried to do so many other things that aren't music. And the more I sort of ran from it and the more I tried to like avoid it, because it's not easy, there's no guarantee whatsoever. You're going to hustle and work and work and work and pour yourself into this creative work. Right. And there's no guarantee whatsoever. It's like you really have to love it. And so this, like I said, this is the one thing I was probably most terrified of. Like, my bio says that I'm like classically trained. So I had a moment where I was like, I'm going to go be an opera singer. And not to say that that's easy at all. It's its own difficult path. But for me, it was like there was at least a formula. There was a path to follow. You go to school and you do these different programs. Right. And you just it's still a hustle and grind, but like you just keep doing that. And it's a little bit, I don't know, it's not predictable. But it's what I thought anyway at that time. And being an independent singer-songwriter was like the thing that was too independent and too unknown and too scary, really. And so I feel like I honestly feel like it was what I was put on earth to do now, because I've tried so many other things, and it's like the music within me, right? Like the song or whatever I have to say, and like just literally using my voice to just sing in my bedroom all day, every day. It's like, this is what I was meant for, and I just needed to figure that out.
That's awesome. One of the things in this lifetime is that it's never too late to decide what you want to do in life and just do it. This whole idea that you have to be a certain age and a certain look is crap. I know. And that was another sort of lie I was believing for way too long, was like, I waited too long. I'm too old to start. And I'm all about just squashing all these lies this year. Empowerment. Let's go. Amen. So we're going to play your song Favorite. Tell us what that's about. This is like a happy friendship song. Kind of just like that ride or die friendship or relationship at all. Just real sweet, like you're my favorite. No matter what, you get me, and I can be comfortable around you, and I don't have to apologize, and I can just be comfortable in my own skin around you. So awesome sauce. We're going to have a word from our sponsor, and we'll play it.
Hi, this is Nikki Chris, and I host a podcast called Mixin' It. Mixin' It focuses on women in the music, entertainment, and the performing arts. Our goal is to provide an avenue for industry veterans and up-and-coming artists, musicians, engineers, and producers to showcase their talent. Listen to Mixin' It on Monday Music Madness at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Sim Radio Network.
I've been really missing you lately. I know that I drive you crazy. I don't want to say goodbye. I know we're a mess when we're together, but I still think I'm a whole lot better with you. And you know it's true. Through ups and downs and all the in-between, you're the one I wanna keep. You're my favorite, oh, 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 my favorite, oh, oh, oh. can do whatever we do, whatever we want to. We can be ourselves with no apologies. With you and me, it's just so easy. You're my favorite, oh, oh, oh. My favorite, oh, oh, oh. No matter how it goes. In case you didn't know, you're my favorite, oh, oh, oh. My favorite, oh, oh, oh. I know you understand, 'cause you love me how I am. You're my favorite. All those fake 'cause they don't know me like you do. But here's to all we've been through. You're my favorite. You're my favorite, oh, oh, oh. Favorite, oh, oh, oh. No matter how it goes. In case you didn't know, you're my favorite, oh, oh, oh. My favorite, oh, oh, oh. I know you understand, 'cause you love me how I am. You're my favorite.
Oh. That was great. I can see why they people think you sound like Colbie, because you do. Still
Yeah.
you.
Thanks.
You have that vibe. Let me just put it to you that way.
Yeah.
You have that vibe. What is your songwriting process like? You know, how do you go about writing a song?
It depends. Sometimes, like if I, have a scheduled co-write with someone maybe I've never written with before, we'll just start the process and bring maybe half ideas we have and just pick what we like and go with that. Or if we start completely from scratch, I'll just get my ukulele and be like, hey, this feels great, or here's the piano, and we'll just start organically like that. Or sometimes, it's my favorite weekend activity, honestly, is to just let my kids play outside and sit with my ukulele and come up with a chord progression and think of melodies and just and then add words. And sometimes I'm in front, I'm learning a bit about production. I've learned enough about production to realize production is hard. But I'm trying to get better. And so I don't always get the hours to sit in front of my computer and really dedicate time to making my own song, which is why I work so well with other producers and friends of mine. But I'll do basic sort of demo style stuff if I have the time. And sometimes I'll just start with the sounds or the chord progression, and then lyrics will come later, or vice versa. I'll have a lyrical idea, and then, it's all just a different process every time, kind of. But it's my favorite thing in the world. That's why I'm so bad at promotion and so bad at, pitching, because are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Dishwasher dude was trying to call me. This is real life, like you said.
That's right.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's right. This is life.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, I love the creative process, and it's a little different every time, but it's the easy part, honestly. The pitching and that whole side of it is, I can do 20 songs in the time it takes me to send the song, send a song out.
It's the writing process is really interesting for me. I create my best songs in the shower. Now I can never remember what I'm saying. I can never remember. People are, you should have your cell phone by near your shower and all that stuff. That's great and all of that, but sometimes I can remember. I'll repeat it. I'm trying to create a gadget, waterproof gadget, that eliminates the shower sound. That you come up with the idea, you press and just record. I don't want to have to get up.
That's a good invention.
You know what I mean? I'm going to do it one day. One day it's going to happen because, my God, I come up with some of the greatest. And I was talking to somebody else who says, you know what? The acoustics in the shower are amazing. And the thing is, I think it also has to do with the water, you're so relaxed in the shower. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why a lot of people feel the same way that I do, that it's just a great place to come up with stuff. I mean, when I say I come up with the best stuff, it's crazy. It's just crazy. But where is the weirdest place that you come up with a song? Like, I got to think about that. Let me give you an example. So I think this was my third or fourth album, and I was like, I needed one more song, and I was walking by a bus stop, and I saw a map, and so I decided to write a song based on the map.
Well, it's funny you say that.
Go ahead.
So like walking up and down the street with the stroller with my kids maybe, or like outside with the ukulele on my porch. It's like my favorite spot, but that's not very like interesting or weird. And maybe this is sort of taking the conversation to a sad place, but I passed my mom has passed away in 2012, and she, I live in the same town I grew up in. And so I pass her cemetery often, and I'll kind of always glance over at like her little area, like where her flowers are. And so that actually sparked a song I'm halfway done with now. I'm still working on it. And it was like, I think the first line is like, I keep bringing you flowers and I wonder if you're noticing. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's it. It just like popped it. Some of these things, they just pop in your head, and I'm like, okay, I got a lyric. And so I have so much other work to do, but I'm like a little obsessed with like, I just want to finish this song. I really like it. So yeah, and then I got my ukulele, and now I figured out the pre-chorus, and I'm really excited to finish this one.
How many instruments do you play?
I am an embarrassingly bad instrumentalist. I mean, maybe it's because I went to music school, and so then like I saw what real instrumentalists are like. So when I say I play keys, I'm like, I don't actually, because I know what like real piano players sound like, and they're incredible. But yeah, so I play keys, and I used to play for church, for example, and that would be like my instrument on stage. And me learning the ukulele is really just that. It's me learning, and sometimes I'll try to track it if I want like this indie, I don't know, too much reverb and a mediocre at best ukulele playing. Like sometimes it works and it creates a vibe for like different songs I'm trying to do. But yeah, so I'm learning the ukulele so that I can eventually hop over to the guitar, but I'm really pretty bad at it. It's more of like a tool for writing, because I know enough about what chords to play, but not too much that I'm like overanalyzing the music theory. Like I might on a piano, like I'll be thinking about the chord progressions too much. Whereas on a ukulele, I'm just like, oh wait, what was that? I forget what I just played, but it kind of sounds cool. And like, I might have happy accidents, and I kind of like that for writing.
What do you love most about being an artist?
Oh gosh, just the fact that it comes so naturally, I think, like melodies. And that's actually my producer helped me get the name for my production company. It's Music by Melody Machine. She was like, you're just a melody machine. Because I just I'll sing things to my kids. I'm like, we're gonna eat some bacon and eggs right now. Like, I'm just constantly making songs. It's totally obnoxious.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, it just comes naturally. So the fact that I get to be motivated to do more and more, and now I have people who want to work with me and want to push me to keep working, and I have them engaging with my music and engaging with the creative process with me. It's like I'm so enthusiastic about it.
That's awesome. To piggyback on the fact that you actually can play instruments. I can't. Like one time I took lessons to try to play the guitar, and I felt like a contortionist. I was like, I like the guitar. Maybe another time. And then 5 years ago, I bought a smart keyboard, which is still in the box. Cause
oh no.
Life happens, and
yep.
Like this year, I'm gonna open I still haven't opened it, but this year I'm gonna open the box because obviously my vocals is my instrument, but I think it's key to know how to play something. Something. It helps
it's been very uncomfortable, to be honest. Like, I am not, like, playing for church, I remember it was a few years ago now that, like, I said, well, I understand how playing the keys works, but I'm really, like, mediocre at that point, you know, and I think I, like, auditioned for the church or whatever, and it was like, I mean, I was not good, but it was sort of like a reason to get better. It's like they kept assigning me and kept giving me Sundays to play, and so it was like, all right, I guess I got to practice, and I kind of forced myself into practicing. I just keep forcing myself into these uncomfortable, situations, or like posting videos of me playing on the ukulele and things like that. I have people encouraging me to keep going and doing these things that are not exactly comfortable to me. So hopefully it'll make me better in like 10 years.
I'm sure you'll be phenomenal. So you
yeah.
sent us another song called Fraud. But when I clicked on the link, it gave me Jingle Bells.
What? That's weird. I mean, we can play Jingle Bells, but I can resend it if you want.
We're going to play, unless you want to resend it, because you can resend it to me and I can add it here. Or we can play the Jingle Bells. It's actually the instrumental version.
What the? Okay, now that's a mess.
I clicked on it twice, and I was like, well, hey, she's really good.
Well, okay.
Instrumental, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's up to you.
I'll just send it really quick. I'll email what you emailed me earlier, and we can just keep chatting in the meantime.
All right. So I'll wait for that, and you send it to me. And
that makes no sense.
We'll keep chatting. So, what artist, dead or alive, would you love to have or would love to perform with or collaborate with?
I mean, there's a whole lot of classics I can mention. I'll say like a new folksy one. I mean, not new necessarily, but like there's this band called Joseph, and I'm a little bit like, I love their music. It's just, I grew up singing in choirs and things like that, and so so it is just harmonies and folk. Just, I love their music. So I would say Joseph, which is funny because my friend actually opened for them, and I think they went on tour. So they're like in Portland, I think, or they're up in Northwest, but I love their music.
Awesome sauce. Now,
did that work? I just sent you the thing.
Next question. I'm going to ask you your opinion on the whole Britney Spears thing. You know, I'll give you my little 2 cents on this whole thing. It's it's quite sad. It's very sad. If you look at I haven't looked at the documentary. I've just been following different things online.
I kind of live under a rock, so I actually am like eager. I'm like, I know a little bit about it, and I'm like, want to go watch the documentary, but I really don't know enough to give, so teach me.
I'm going to teach you. Basically, what happened? 13 years ago, can you imagine? 13 years ago, Britney Spears had a mental break. Okay. She had mental breaks all the time. She had a mental break. She shaved her head. I don't know if you remember that. And so that's when her father and I guess other family members decided that they were going to take control of her life. Okay, because of that incident. So then the father and some other people became conservators on in regards to her life. That meaning that they controlled everything. So basically, the documentary showed you that they control really a lot. She gets a $2,000 allowance. Obviously, most of us would love that. She has to wear an IUD. They don't want her to get pregnant.
Yeah, that's nuts.
She can't get married. They put her on meds, this, that, and other. She's really restricted on something that she did 13 years ago. Obviously, we don't know everything. If there'd been other incidents, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the thing was 13 years ago. So she actually came out recently and just wanted to be honest that she's been depressed. They won't let her live. She wants out of the conservatorship. And so recently, I think the judge denied something.
Oh, geez.
One of the people on the conservatorship thing has decided to resign, and the judge is allowing that, but they're allowing her father to stay on. Now, this whole thing is disgusting. And I read this morning that the court-appointed attorney for her can charge her up to $10,000.
What?
So she had a Las Vegas residency. I mean, she's a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
And it seems that her family and all these other people are taking advantage of her money and all that stuff. And so I was telling somebody recently, if she had been a man, they would never have done any of that. That's number one. Number two, with all the TikTok and the cray-cray that we see in our social media, on the internet and stuff like that, that would mean everybody in the whole wide world would have to have a conservator. To have that conservatorship for 13 years is totally ridiculous.
It's crazy that this even exists. Like, so, I mean, what you're telling me is like the little bits that I know about it. I want to find out more if there is any more to know. But it's like shocking to me that this is even a thing that is happening.
Yeah.
Like, you're an adult. I don't know.
Yeah, and so she's come out.
It's insane. It's so tragic.
Yeah, and she's come out and said, well, which I was thinking too. She says, I may just not perform anymore. Because it's ridiculous. It's putting a whole, she's had a steady boyfriend. He wants to marry her. He wants to have kids with her. It's truly tragic. It's just truly tragic.
It really is, yeah.
They free Britney. Okay, we're going to play Fraud right now. I got it.
Okay, cool.
From a glass, don't look at my glass, just see my beauty and sufficiency.
Great song. I could hear that. Oh. I could hear that in a film or TV show or documentary, something. I could hear it, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind of the goal. It didn't start as the goal. It really was like a personal song at first, but I'm really happy with how it turned out.
So what is one of the hardest things that you're learning about the music industry?
I don't know if it's like an industry thing. It's a me thing. I mean, there's like plenty. It's really just the relentless belief and enthusiasm that I have to keep going. You know what I mean? It's just really, really easy to look to the left and right and compare yourself and to compare your progress or your looks or your likes or all of that stuff, right? And it's you just can't control the results. I can't control the results. I don't know if people are going to like it, but like I've got to do what I love and be brave enough and bold enough to send it out to the world,
right,
and let them judge and then not think too hard about it and just keep going, you know? And so I've sort of reached that point where I have all those days of like self-doubt and ups and downs and things like that still happens, but I sort of have this inner commitment of like, I'm just not going to quit, you know? So I don't know if that's an industry. It is in, you know, uniquely this industry is like, or anything creative is like, there are no guarantees whatsoever. There's no clocking in and clocking out. You just keep going and hope it works, you know?
Amen to that. This is a very tough industry, but the bottom line is that if you believe in yourself, you can, and anything is, there's no impossibility in the belief and love for yourself, because if you create music and you put all your love into it, that's what you're going to receive. And the one thing is that if you're in this industry, you have to understand that music is extremely subjective, and not everybody's going to like what you do. And there's going to be a lot of people that like what you do. You just have to keep doing your thing and just be proud of the fact that you are doing something that you love, because people struggle with that all the time. What is one quote or message you like to live by?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have like a quote. I mean, and it changes. I kind of have, instead of yearly like New Year's resolutions or whatever, I'll have a yearly like, what's God saying to me? Like, what's the thing that I need growth in? And so it changes year to year. And this year, honestly, I feel like my theme is just like, just keep going. You know, don't think too much about it. And my husband is a really great support in that, because he just, I don't know how, but he just does not care what people think. And I do plenty, you know, and so he's just constantly grounding me, and he's like, stop worrying so much. You can't control things. Just do wake up and do it again the next. That just might be my phrase. You know, it's nothing profound really, but just keep going is my theme this year.
Amen. And that's a good theme. We all need to keep going. Well, Nomae, thank you so much for being on Chatting with Nat. It has truly been an honor, and I will send you that information for all that licensing stuff. Even I have to get. That's on one of my...
I know. We need more hours in the day.
I mean, for real, we do. Because, oh my God, if you saw my list, you would cry.
Me too.
You need to get to it. Yes, everybody needs to follow you, listen to your music. It's Nomae.music on Instagram, and she has a link tree. Nomae Music. Definitely check her out. Thanks again. And eventually, let's do an Instagram Live. I would love to do that with you.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. It's been fun.
Thank you, and have an awesome day.
You too.
Thank you. And that was Chatting with Nat with pop singer-songwriter Nomae. Check her out. Until next time, this was Natalie Jean on Chatting with Nat.
Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide,
and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Love your power.